You know, I think there's a massive problem with the Apple Vision Pro that nobody is talking about. And to be honest with you, it actually scares me. So, the thing about the Apple Vision Pro is that when we think about smartphones, the things that are in our pockets, you might even be watching this video on a smartphone. I used to film all of my videos with a smartphone. Smartphones are such a big part of our lives today. And if you look at a graph in terms of smartphone adoption and the use of the internet going upwards, and you also compared that to mental health issues going upwards, there would be a correlation between the two. And the reason there's a correlation between the two is because effectively people are all over the place, right? People are looking on their phones, they're comparing themselves to other people on Instagram and on social media. They're also living in a society that has completely changed as a result of phones. And to be honest with you, it's changed for the worse. Like, we've got the worst standards of living in the Western world for the, longest period. We're also paying more tax than we've ever paid before. The idea of owning a home is really, really difficult now compared to that of our parents and our grandparents. So we're in a very, very difficult dilemma as a society and as a species, and also as a generation, really. Our generation's really hit hard. But at the same time, we're that generation that has developed, that has worked out how to use these tools, has worked out how to use phones for the better and the worse. So thinking about all of that and putting that all into context, all of these problems that phones have brought into the world, and really, I guess you could say the internet. I mean, we now do everything on our phone. We do dating on our phone. If you go to a nightclub today and you meet a nice lady and you go, oh, hi, nice to meet you, all that kind of stuff, she's like, I don't know you, and it's now you have to use Tinder or Bumble or some of the other apps to get matches with people, to actually go on dates with people, because that's the only way they'll interact with you. To banking, where you can't go and see somebody in a bank anymore. You have to do everything online or through the app. It's completely transformed the world. That's what I'm trying to say. It's completely transformed the world. And the thing about Apple Vision Pro is that effectively we are saying to people, put the phone on your face. Put the phone on your face. Leave reality behind and focus on this. So Apple Vision Pro is very expensive. It's also not available in my country. I'm based in the UK, so I can't buy Apple Vision Pro. Not that I'd want to. And yes, it looks like a technical marvel. It looks fantastic. All the reviews have been very, very positive. All of the stuff I've seen online is very, very positive. And credit to Apple, it looks like a technological, amazing piece of work that thousands of developers have worked on for many, many years. I'm scared about Vision Pro. I'm scared about what it means for the future of our society. I mean, as I described with the phone, we've transformed it once before. We've made these things already that are just distracting us and destroying us, removing any form of community. And now there's an isolating experience where you put one of these Vision Pros on your face, you have fake eyes, and you can't see the world. I was talking to somebody about an app that I'm building at the moment, and it's a app that kind of helps with tours and things like that. And they said to me, oh, well, with Apple Vision Pro, you can have an augmented reality experience where you can go around specific tourist destinations, look at things through Apple Vision Pro, and it'll tell you information about them. And that brought me to the sad realization that actually, for people that would be doing that, Apple Vision Pro would effectively mean that they're not looking at these tourist attractions or these tourist destinations with their own eyes. They're looking at it through screens, through cameras. And then it made me think, well, actually, we do this today. How many times have you been to a rock concert and you've seen somebody literally filming the entire concert on their phone, when actually you're thinking in your head, why don't you experience this live like you should? Why don't you experience this? But instead, oh no, I'm experiencing it through this. And 9 out of 10 times they never watch those videos again. It's very strange that this is something that happens. But maybe the things I'm scared about with Vision Pro are things I'm scared about today. Maybe it's the same fears, but it's now a whole new layer of fear that makes me concerned. I mean, really, we have to be careful. You and I, the consumer, has to be careful. If we buy stuff, guess what happens? It becomes the norm. And if it becomes the norm, it transforms everything. So we have the power, effectively, to decide what happens to our future. We have the power to decide whether we want AI to take over everything, which is a completely separate topic, which I'll make another video about. We have the power to decide whether we'd like the current politicians that are out there from that side of things. We have the power to look at alternatives, to start our own alternatives, to think about these things. We have that power. And as we evolve, you know, so DSLR camera, mirrorless camera that I'm recording this on, which I'll do a review on shortly, we're in a very strange place. We're in a very strange place where technology seems like it's moving completely away from the traditional, like a DSLR camera with a mirror, to the non-digital, or I should say the actual full digital, where everything is done without the sort of elements of traditional in there. And there was a time where technology was analog and also quite creative. You could come up with new ideas and build things specifically for a certain reason. But now everything seems to be ones and zeros, and maybe our own lives will be ones and zeros with the Apple Vision Pro. Look, I don't mean to sound pessimistic. I am terrified. I will be honest with you. I am terrified. Because when I think about these things from a deeper perspective, what happens when people start going on a date and they're wearing a virtual reality headset? What happens when you have two people that never meet each other, but they're actually in the same room, but they can't see each other because they're on their own virtual reality headset? What happens when ads invade your world? You know, you look around and there's an advertisement for something in your house. What happens to privacy? They know what your eyes are looking at. They feel all of these things. We're already at a privacy discourse where they know everything about you and they have everything from that side of things. So what happens from that side of things? Do we really want big corporations tracking our eye movements? Do we really want to know what we're looking at? Wow. I mean, if there's anything positive to say about Apple's foray or, you know, dance with augmented and virtual reality with the Vision Pro, it's that I trust Apple a lot more than I trust Meta. I mean, Meta with data, they've had a really bad track record with Facebook and Instagram and other platforms of just disregarding people's privacy. So what makes us think that they're going to go out there, make a virtual reality or augmented reality experience that doesn't compromise our data with our biological side? So at least Apple, I'm a little bit more comfortable with Apple having that data and with their privacy measures. But it almost feels like, and I'm not a skepticism person or a skeptical person most of the time, but it almost feels like, you know, those privacy adverts that focus on privacy, that might have something to do with the fact that actually they're moving into augmented reality and virtual reality. Maybe people are starting to question whether they want their eyes tracked through technology or whether they want different things like this from that side of things. I mean, literally, they'll know everything you're looking at. They'll know everything in your room with the cameras. I mean, that's a terrifying thought. And maybe there's some malice to the privacy stuff, but I'm just speculating now. Look, a very downbeat and concerning video to make, but one that I think is important because I don't hear anybody talking about this. I read the reviews, I see the reviews, I look at the promotional materials, but nobody is talking about this discourse that the Apple Vision Pro and augmented virtual reality can have on the world. It's something that is very terrifying on what the bigger picture could be in regard to the Apple Vision Pro. And again, coming back to it, we hold the keys, we hold the power. And just think about it before you jump on this bandwagon, because as we jump, they will develop further, there's a market for it, and it will move forward. Luckily, my personal opinion is, especially in Europe and in the UK, I feel like Apple Vision Pro will be rejected. It'll be too expensive. At the same time, Europeans tend not to be that digital focused, very much still face to face. UK is a bit different, but whenever I'm in a European community, they're very much face to face, enjoying each other's company. Bars and restaurants are all still packed. You know, it's very much that culture that they have in the European Union and, you know, Europe as a whole. And the UK is kind of like that. And I hope that's correct. I hope it doesn't catch on over here. I hope it doesn't go big and mainstream. And it may not. It may just not go that far. But as we know, everyone's talking about it. But when it gets to the glasses, you know, the augmented reality, virtual reality glasses, then we're all potentially going to look at this. I was in a sunglasses shop recently and I asked them about the Meta Ray-Bans, and I said, how popular are the Meta Ray-Bans? And they said they're always sold out. So these things are in demand. But I guess my biggest question is with who? The general consumer or just anybody? Look, apologies for the downbeat video, but I wanted to share this because it's something that deeply concerns me when I think about it. And as a whole, I feel like as a society, we should think more deeply around these specific things. So thank you very much for watching. More videos coming soon. I'm starting to get back into the knack of it and starting to really kind of develop things and move things forward. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to talking more about different subjects and other things. I'll be a bit more positive next time, but I'm honestly very happy with this message. I think it's a very good message to put out there onto the internet. And it's one that not many people are talking about. So just think about it. Think about your future and think about how we might contribute to the scary future of this world. Thanks very much. Have a great rest of your day, no matter where you are in the world. Thank you. Bye-bye.